Colin Cowherd, Super Bowl Field of Dreams ends. We're doing some kind of crazy bit here, but at the end of the day, we're talking about what teams are, how close are the Jaguars, Dolphins, Chiefs, Chargers to the Super Bowl end zone. Unbelievable skit situation. I'm not sure who's writing for Colin's show. Wow. Well, let's get into it.
We're going to play Super Bowl Field of Dreams. If the end zone is the Super Bowl, what yard line are teams on?
Everyone watching on TV is lucky. This looks so cool. How close are the Chargers to the Super Bowl end zone?
Okay, so is he doing all AFC teams? Interesting. How close are the Chargers to the end zone? I would say they are. They're a wild team because roster-wise, you would think they should be a Super Bowl contender. But given their track record, would you be surprised if the Chargers missed the playoffs? I wouldn't. So wherever you put a team who should be better than they are is where I would put the Chargers. The Chargers are underperforming. They have been underperforming since Justin Herbert's been there, but with how good he's been, how good Austin Eckler has been, how many wide receivers they have talent everywhere. But they, for some reason, just can't win games. I mean, they have talent on the defensive side of the ball, too. This is a roster that should be a Super Bowl contender.
5-yard line, Kellen Moore and left tackle Rashawn Slater is back.
They ain't that close. I mean, you got to win some playoff games. You got to do so. I would put them in like the red zone, maybe like the 25, maybe the 20, but the 5 should be teams that are like gunning for the end zone.
Quentin Johnston, the rookie wide receivers, lit up camp. They're at the 5-yard line.
No, they're not.
Goodness. All right, the Chiefs.
That's insane.
How close are the Chiefs?
Chiefs are in the end zone. Obviously, they've won Super Bowls. They are the defending Super Bowl champion. They are in the end zone, spiking the football. Like, they are a Super Bowl threat every year. They've proven they can get to the Super Bowl. They've proven they can win the Super Bowl. They're in the end zone.
Chiefs to the Super Bowl end zone.
They're at the goal line. They were young. Those 10 rookies should be better.
If they're at the goal line, there's no way the Chargers can be at the 5. If the goal line is the best you can possibly be, then there's no way the Chargers are that close.
2 starting new tackles. Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor concerns me a little bit. They're at the goal line.
Denver Broncos and Sean Payton.
Probably 40-yard line, field goal territory. New coaching staff, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler.
That's about right. The 40's fine. They're on the other side. They're on the right side of the 50. They're not like a lock. I would say any team within the 25 yards and more are like locked in playoff teams. The Broncos are not a locked in playoff team. They could make that jump, but they got some work to do.
Got banged up. They're in field goal range. Tough division, couple of injuries. It'll be a work in progress.
Field goal range. Okay, all right. The Raiders. How close are the Raiders?
They're so far back. They're on the opposite 5. I think the Raiders have a sneaky chance to be the worst team in football. I think they are one of those teams where they're in the Caleb Williams lottery. Like they're looking to get Caleb Williams more than they're looking to make a playoff run.
Well, their own 40-yard line. They are out of field goal range. Josh Jacobs holdout. Darren Waller's gone. Garoppolo's health. All major concerns on the offensive side of the ball, but they have had a good preseason.
My team
no one cares about
this
that.
year, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I would put the Steelers. I'd put them closer to the end zone than the Broncos, but not by much. So I'm going to say the 35.
30-yard line, makeable field goal. 8-2 when TJ Watt played. They won 6 of 7, and Kenny Pickett was more than serviceable.
Yeah.
Should be a field goal, makeable field goal.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl end zone.
They're right there with the Chiefs. I'd put them on the goal line. Them and the Chiefs are this generation's Patriots and Colts when Manning and Brady were there. They're just going to keep rotating. I'd be shocked if for the next 5 years, the Chiefs or the Bengals, one of them are going, in my prediction, I'm trying to think how to word this, in the next 5 years, the Chiefs or the Bengals, maybe both, but one of them will be in the AFC Championship game every year for the next 5 years.
Lost their safeties, but I'd say goal line, upgraded offensive tackle, Orlando Brown, back-to-back AFC Championships.
Yep.
You can lose safeties. Joe Burrow hurt his calf. It's fine. They're on the goal line.
Yes.
The Cleveland Browns, are they close to the Super Bowl end?
I would have the Browns on the 40 as well. The Browns are very similar to the Broncos, where With the Broncos, you're banking on Russell Wilson returning to form. With the Browns, you're banking on Deshaun Watson returning to form. It's the exact same team, or the exact same kind of idea, philosophy moving forward. Sean Payton's kind of building a culture in Denver. The Browns are kind of trying to, they have bought this window with Deshaun Watson, all that guaranteed money, and they have to get him up to form. If they don't get him up to form, they can't go anywhere. So he was bad last year. Obviously, Nick Chubb's good, but without Watson, there's no possible chance. So the 40 is where I'm putting these teams at. If everything goes right, yeah, they can certainly compete, but they haven't proven that those things can go right, and if there's a chance those things may go worse.
40-yard line. Under Stefanski, they've had the worst record in that division. They have the most expensive offense. Does everybody love Deshaun Watson? Again, they're like Denver. I know they've got players, but do they have a good team? I don't know.
All right, let's go with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, Ravens they're not on the goal line, but they're better than the Chargers. I would have them at the 5, and I'd back the Chargers up. The Ravens are really good. I like the Ravens a lot this year. I'd have them at the 5.
30-yard line. They have a new coordinator and a lot of moving parts at receiver.
Putting them with the same with Pittsburgh, Colin, how are they 20 yards behind the Chargers? This is despicable. This is disgusting right here.
But Lamar has the second highest winning percentage among all active quarterbacks, so I suspect, like Pittsburgh, they'll be good. There's a lot of new faces to the offense. New coordinator worries me a little.
All right, let's get to the bad teams. The Tennessee Titans and the Super Bowl end zone.
Well,
Titans aren't bad. They're not good. I'd have them at the 50. They're teeter-tottering on that bad/good. I think they're in a slight rebuild with the Tannehill-Levis situation. I thought they were kind of rebuilding, but then they go get DeAndre Hopkins, so maybe they're not. I like Vrabel a lot as a coach. I don't think they're necessarily good, but they probably have enough talent to where they can't be bad, so I'd have them smack on the 50.
Well, they're not bad. I would say Titans midfield could go either way, probably out of field goal range. They've made the playoffs in 3 out of 4 years under Vrabel. And Ryan Tannehill does have 100 passer rating since he joined the Titans. He's better than people think.
No, he's not.
But they don't have a lot of pow offensively on the perimeter, and they've got to win a certain way. I'd put them at midfield.
Houston Texans.
Texans are bad. I'd probably put them at like their own 10, somewhere in there. Now, if you believe in C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, and you think Dameon Pierce is good, then maybe you say, you know what, they got a young roster, relatively talented. They may surprise people, especially if you believe in DeMeco Ryans. So maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe they should be closer to their own 20, but I would say no further than their own 20. Somewhere between 10 and 20, I'll say 15.
Well, their own 25-yard line.
Ooh,
worst odds
way
to win
high,
the Super Bowl,
way high,
rookie coach, rookie coordinator, rookie quarterback. It'll be a rebuild season.
All right, let's do the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Super Bowl end zone.
The Jaguars are better than the Broncos and the Browns. I think they're better than the Steelers. I'd say they're on par with the Ravens. I had the Ravens at the 5. They're better than the Chargers. So I guess I would put them... I'd put them at the 5. I'd have them at the 5. But I'd also have the Ravens at the 5. And I'd have the Chargers at the 20.
Zone.
I think they're going to be great. 5-yard line like the Chargers. Calvin Ridley's going to have 120 catches. They're not great defensively.
I am nailing these yardages, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have to be to win a Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be wildly electric offensively. Remember, by about Thanksgiving last year, they were the best team in the league, not named Kansas City. They were on fire.
Hurry up. We got to get to the Jets. How about the Colts? Let's get this out of the way.
Their own.
Colts are bad. I think they're probably maybe on par with the Texans. If I had the Texans at the 15, I'd have the Colts at the 15 too.
25-yard line. Okay. 8th straight season. They have a week 1 starter at quarterback that's different. Isn't that crazy?
That's bananas.
Buffalo Bills, where are they in the Super Bowl end?
Bills are on the goal line. Bills are right there. They're not, really, they'd be like the 3, because I think they're behind Kansas City and Cincinnati. But if we're going by 5-yard increments, then I would have them above the Ravens and the Jaguars. I really don't think they are. I'll say the 3 just from me, just from my own, pride, I guess, because I don't want you to think that I think they're the same as the Chiefs and the Bengals. I think they are a step behind. I'll say the 3, but if I had to pick an increment of goal line or 5, I would say goal line.
20-yard line.
God, the 20-yard line? Damn, that is wild. That is far back there. When you have the Chargers at the 5 and you put the Bills all the way back at the 20, you're telling me the Bills are closer to the Steelers than they are to the Chargers? I don't know about that.
Stephon Diggs drama concerns me. Lost Leslie Frazier. That concerns me. I like them. I don't love them. Maybe a bit of a pullback. Do they really miss Brian Dable?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. The New England Patriots, are they close to the Super Bowl end zone?
I'd have the Patriots at the 50. They're not. The Patriots are right the same as the Titans. They might be a little bit better than the Titans. They're at like the 45 or the 50. I'll say the 45. They're not bad, but they're just not exciting. They don't have much. They still are undecided at quarterback. They're kind of in a shift. They're not in a rebuild, but they are kind of it feels like there's just a big shift going on there. I'll say the 45, but there's not much to like in New England.
I think with Tennessee, they're at the 50. I think they're out of field goal range. They did hire a legitimate coordinator, but let's be honest. Since Brady left, you know what their record is? 25-25. They don't have enough juice. Tennessee and New England are well coached. They just don't.
New England to me is very similar. Like they're playing. They just look old. Like they look like they're playing an old style of football. When you watch the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Bengals, these like super exciting. Even the Ravens, the Chargers. The Patriots don't look like they're playing the same at all. Like the Patriots are still playing like it's 2004. They just don't have any punch. They don't have any offensive spark. Like they're just, I don't know. It feels like they're getting left in the past. How much of that is the front office? How much of that is the coaching? How much of that is just resting on the laurels that worked 10 years ago? I don't know. But yeah, I mean the Patriots just need something. They need some excitement there. Yeah, I mean the 50's fine for them, but man, tough time to be a Pats fan.
Don't have enough juice.
All right, the Miami Dolphins in the Super Bowl end zone.
I would have them. I'd probably have them at like the 10 to 15 somewhere in there. I think the Dolphins are really good. I think 2 is really good. I like the Dolphins a lot. I think the Dolphins are better than the Chargers. I have the Chargers at the 20. I think they're not as good as the. They're not right there. They're a little bit behind, like the Jags and the Bills, but they're in that conversation. So I'd have them at the 10. They got to stay healthy. They need to find a running back. But all in all, I think the team is good. If all things were equal, everyone was healthy, I'd have them right there with the Jaguars. But I just feel like there's too many variables with the Dolphins to put them right there. So I'll say the 10-yard line.
20-yard line. Vic Fangio helps. I like their defense.
Fangio does help a lot.
I think they're a dark horse Super Bowl team if Tua remains healthy.
Yeah.
We saved the best for last. How close are the Jets to the Super Bowl end zone?
The Jets are worse as far as their. Maybe I'd have them. Trying to remember where I have all these teams. I definitely think they're better than like the Steelers, Broncos, that whole group. I don't think they're as good as like the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jags, like that whole. They're probably with the Chargers. So if I had the Chargers at the 20, I would have the Jets at the 20. I think they're about the same. Talented roster, got to prove it. The Jets are a little bit more volatile because you don't know how Rodgers is going to fit. A lot of moving new pieces. I'd put the Jets at the 20.
I'm going to put them at the 30 with Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
They're better than Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know if they have the tackle situation there.
The offensive line is a question. For sure.
It is the first year in New York for Aaron Rodgers. They've got nice weapons, but it should be noted, haven't made the playoffs since 2010.
Okay.
Where do you see?
Well, the Buffalo. Let's start with the Bills. Colin, come on. The 20s,
that's far back.
I don't
for
love
the
the Bills, but they're behind the Jags and the
I mean, last year the Bills were the highest power rated team in NFL history in preseason. You know, this was a team that literally everyone was picking to win the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were that good. You know, I didn't pick them to win the Super Bowl, but the 20 is far back for them. I think the Bills should definitely be higher up. They're right there. The 5 is the furthest back I would put the Bills. They're a legitimate Super Bowl threat.
Chargers?
I love the Jags this year.
I like the Jags
The
too.
Bills are the 20-yard line.
The biggest question mark for me on this whole thing is the Chargers. If he moved the Chargers back to the 20 and had the Ravens on the 22, this would be pretty close to how I would have the AFC. I would have the Chiefs and the Bengals way ahead. I'd have the Jags probably would be, the Jags and the Bills would be right there. And then you get into those teams like the Ravens, the Dolphins, and then you'd have the Chargers. But having the Chargers on the 5 when they have done absolutely nothing since Justin Herbert's been there. I mean, we had the absolute debacle in the playoffs last year. We had the tie situation against the Raiders the year before. So I don't understand that one. That's the one that's kind of indefensible. I understand saying maybe the Bills aren't as good as everyone thinks, but when you look at it like this and you say the Bills are 4 times worse than the Chargers, I don't know, that one doesn't make sense to me.
The Jags are at the 5?
By the way, we have Miami as a Super Bowl underdog. They're at the 20.
So I popped into Vegas and I took the Dolphins alt win total over 10.5. If Tua's healthy, I'm starting to get a.
But like Colin, that should have given him his answer right there. If the Dolphins are a dark horse Super Bowl team, the Bills aren't a dark horse Super Bowl team. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender. They are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They're not a dark horse, so they shouldn't be on the same yardage line as a dark horse.
Drink your sauce, and then they could win like 10, 11, 12 games.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below. Where did Colin get it right? Where did Colin get it wrong? Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Or are you just absolutely befuddled at how I can be so damn good at this? Let me know in the comments below. I will see you in the next video.